Hey guys, it's Felicia and I'm here to do my September wrap-up. I can't believe that September is already over. Like, it just flew by and now we're in October and that's crazy. I'm just going to talk to you about the books that I read. I only read 6 books this month and I really enjoyed all the ones that I read, so I'm going to show you them now. The first book that I read was Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion, and I did not think that I was going to like this book at all, but I actually was very surprised. If you don't know, it's a story about R, who is a zombie, and he goes out hunting with some of the other zombies in his group, his pod, I think they call them, and he sees this girl named Julie, and there's just something in him that wants to save her. He actually eats her boyfriend's brain, and so he gets his memories, and then so he recognizes Julie from that, and then he just feels compelled to save her, and so he just ends up protecting her, and then as the book goes along, he becomes more and more lifelike, and like he keeps feeling new things that he hasn't felt since he died, and it's very weird. And I was truly surprised by this book. I thought I was going to hate it. The only reason I read it was because I saw the trailer for the movie and I thought it looked interesting, so then I was like, well, maybe I'll like the book. If maybe it's like not graphic in the book, and then I can just like make it less graphic in my head. Like, I don't like zombies at all. So yeah, but I decided to read it, and I was actually surprised that I enjoyed it. Like, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and it's probably like 5 out of 5 if you like zombies. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that one. I was very surprised. The next book that I read was Landline by Rainbow Rowell, and I really enjoyed this book as well. I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's a story about a woman named Georgie. She is a comedy screenwriter for a TV show, and her writing partner, they have created their own pilot for a show, and just before Christmas they arrange a meeting with some producer that's interested in their show, and so they have to scramble to get a few more episodes written before they have this meeting, and it's right before Georgie is supposed to go to Nebraska with her husband and her 2 daughters. And her husband is really upset, and he just goes with the girls, and Georgie stays behind because she has to get ready for this meeting. And so Georgie keeps trying to call her husband on her cell phone, and it keeps dying. Like, her battery doesn't hold a charge, and her husband never answers the phone. When she calls, it's always his mom or their daughters answer his cell phone. And finally, Georgie is at her mom's house, and she calls her husband's house on their old yellow landline, and she gets a hold of him, but she realizes as the conversation goes on that it's actually her husband 15 years in the past, at the time when they were dating, and it was right before he was gonna propose to her. And so this really weirds her out, and yeah, it's kind of a crazy story. Like, it's real life, but then just like a magical element in there. And I thought that it was a really entertaining story. I enjoy Rainbow Rowell's characters. It reminds me a lot of Sophie Kinsella's characters, and I think that what else do I have to say about this book? Yeah, I liked it. It was a quick read. I felt that I related to it more than other people have. I think that some people didn't like it because like they're not married, and so they couldn't relate to a character that's married with children. I'm married, and so I found that their relationship was like I could relate to that more. I didn't like a couple things was that they just really sucked at communication. Like in a marriage, you need to be more communicative. I was getting frustrated at times with Georgie and her husband Neil that they just wouldn't talk to each other, and I just found that really frustrating. Like even though Neil was upset with Georgie when he left, like why wouldn't he call her when he got there? Like even just to tell her how the girls were on the flight. Like it just doesn't make any sense. So that part I found unrealistic, but that is basically what the plot is Georgie trying to talk to her husband. And so I understand why it happened, but it just wasn't realistic for me. And so, but I still really enjoyed this book. And yeah, like I said, I gave it 4.5 out of 5. So I would recommend that you pick this up. It's kind of actually a Christmassy book. Like maybe pick it up around Christmas because that's when the book takes place. The next book that I read was Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. And I said in my haul video when I got this, or my TBR video, that I wanted to read it and love it. And I read it and I loved it. And I give this 5 out of 5. Like the characters are just so adorable. And it takes place in Paris. Like I'm kind of obsessed with Paris. And it just, the way that Stephanie Perkins wrote and described Paris, it just like came alive to me. I've never been to Paris, but like I could totally picture the school and like the places that they go, and it was awesome. And this is a story about Anna, whose parents sent her to an American school in Paris, and she meets some friends right away. Like she makes friends very quickly there with this group, St. Clair and Rashmi and Josh. I think her name was Rashmi. Yeah. And so they become like their own little group, and like Anna and St. Clair, they kind of hit it off right away, but St. Clair has a girlfriend, and so that kind of creates some problems. And as the book goes along, Anna realizes that she actually has real feelings for St. Clair, and he still has his girlfriend, and so she can't really do anything about it. And she thinks that St. Clair has feelings for her, but he has a girlfriend, and so nothing happens. And like, so there is some like teenage angst going on in this book. Like, just break up with your girlfriend if you don't like her, whatever. If you like somebody else, like whatever, you're not married, you're 18, whatever. I really enjoyed this book. Like it just makes me feel all like cute, and it feels like a romantic comedy movie from my generation. They don't make those anymore, but like The Wedding Planner and like 13 going on 30, and You've Got Mail, and just stuff like that. It just, that's what this book felt like to me. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading Lola and the Boy Next Door and Isla and That Happily Ever After. I think I'm really going to enjoy those. I am on a book buying ban, and so I cannot get them, and I don't know if I want to get them from the library because I know they're books that I'm going to want to have. So I don't know. But yeah, definitely give this book a read if you have a chance. And the next book that I read was Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I actually partly read this book as, or I listened to it as an audiobook, which actually I found helped me a lot because I don't know, when I'm reading Jane Austen, like sometimes I just can't, the words are like getting mixed up in my brain. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe some of you can relate. But when I listen to an audiobook, then it's like, oh, like actually hearing the inflections and actually hearing the words, it sounds like it's actually like comedy. Like this is like original romantic comedy here. Like it's hilarious sometimes. And the characters that she wrote are just like so ridiculous, some of them, and they're so funny. Like it's just awesome. And if you don't know, Sense and Sensibility, this is a story about two sisters. The older sister is named Eleanor and the younger sister is named Marianne. And then they have an even younger sister named Margaret, but she like doesn't even come into the story at all, like because she's too young. So while they're out partying in society, then Margaret just stays at home, and apparently she's cool with that. But whatever. Eleanor is the sense in the title. She's very calm, level-headed, rational, and Marianne is the sensibility. She is really emotional and dramatic, and she loves everything with a passion, and she hates everything with a passion, and she just feels everything. She has all the feels all the time. And so, of course, Jane Austen, pretty quickly into the story, they hook up with these guys. They don't hook up with anybody, but they both fall in love with two different guys. Eleanor falls in love with Edward Ferrars, and he is actually their sister-in-law's brother. They have an older brother, his wife's brother, and Marianne falls in love with a guy named Willoughby, and he rescues her when she is out on a stroll and she twists her ankle, and he rescues her, and it's so romantic. And of course they go through their problems, and there's miscommunications and people's feelings and gossip and just all of this stuff, and it's a big kerfluffle. And then over the course of the story, there's also Colonel Brandon, who is not much younger than their mother, but he is in love with Marianne as well. And so everyone's trying to get Colonel Brandon to just admit his feelings for Marianne, and he won't. And so it's just like all of this stuff, all the characters are tied together, and like this is just a really good story. Like Eleanor, Marianne's sister-in-law, she's like just a terrible person. Like she's just the evil sister, and it's just, yeah, I don't know, just like read it. And if you have a hard time reading classics, I would recommend getting an audiobook. Like you can probably download it for free from your library. That's what I did, and I really enjoyed it. I listened to it at work when I was doing other stuff, and yeah, it was good. You gotta love Jane Austen. She's the ultimate romantic, and even though she never got married, she understood a thing or two about what it feels like to be in love. And these stories and these characters, they just have held up over the centuries, and that's why Jane Austen is classic, because people stay the same. I give this 5 out of 5. It's fantastic. The next book that I read was Of Poseidon by Anna Banks. I would give this book a 3.75 out of 5, so we can round that up to 4. This book is about a girl named Emma. She has a best friend named Chloe, and they are at the beach one day during the summer, and they meet this guy named Galen and his sister Raina, and they think that there's something about them that's kind of weird, but they can't put their finger on it. And like Galen just looks at Emma just so intensely and kind of creeps her out, but she doesn't think anything of it really. And then when school starts, Galen's there, and he just kind of follows her around, and he just tries to talk to her and ask her out and all this stuff. And like there's this pull between them, and they can't, Emma doesn't know what it's about. And then one day something happens there are just all these things that keep happening when Galen's around. And over the course of time, it comes out that Emma is actually half Serena, which is the name in this book for mer people. And Galen is a Serena prince, and he's actually been looking for her. He believes that she is a lost heir of Poseidon. And Galen and Emma, they go through then this journey of Emma coming to terms with being half Serena, and learning about her past and like her ancestry, and they're trying to figure out like how she came to be Serena, and how can she come back to the underwater world and kind of reign. Yeah, I enjoyed this book. I thought it was cute. I enjoy mermaid books. I kind of have a weak spot for them, and I enjoyed this one. And I liked the characters in this book. I thought that Emma was pretty, like, she had appropriate reactions to things, if that makes sense. Like, when she found out that she was a Serena, it took her a while to accept that, just because she, like, didn't know what the heck. And yeah. I'm not good with the words today. I enjoy this book. The last book that I read was Of Triton by Anna Banks. This picks up where the previous one left off, and Galen and Emma, they have to try to get approval for their love, because obviously they fall in love, and you know, half Serena is unacceptable. It's an abomination according to the old law, and so Galen and Emma are trying to find a way to be together that'll be allowed. And yeah, there's other stuff that goes on, but I'm not going to tell you what. You just have to read it. And I hit myself in the face with my glasses. Yeah, so I enjoyed this one. I would give it 4 out of 5. It was good, and I look forward to reading the last one. And that is it. That's all the books that I read in September. That's not very many, but I enjoyed all of them. I'll be doing another video for my October TBR. And so that's it. Have you read any of these books? If you have, I would love to hear your thoughts on them, if you like them or not. I'm sure a lot of you have read Anna and the French Kiss by now. I'm a little bit late to the party. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye. Yeah, and it reminds me of stuff. Do I have anything else to say? I'm getting text messages. Quit texting me. Okay, no, Rogue. I know you think that that's for you, but it's not. Sorry. And so, yeah. I'm just being so eloquent today. Yeah, so, like, what was I saying?